Welcome. It's Tracy from Nova Scotia Living, and we're going to make breakfast for supper tonight. I just wanted to show you the stuff that I have out. We haven't had this in a little while, but it's always a favorite because it's a nice special treat. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and start. Here's 2 packages. This is frozen. I got to defrost it, but it's thicker bacon. It says fresh side pork slice, so it's thicker, but it's still bacon. This is a fresh pack of bacon. So it seems like I have a lot of ingredients here, but for those that are new, I'll just tell you, we have a big family. We have 7 children in our house. We have 6 of our own, but we often have extra children. And we need to cook a lot of food because I don't want anybody to be hungry, and I want, there's enough for everybody. The more the merrier, right? So anyways, there's the bacon. Here's 2 packages of home ground pork. I'll put a link in the description below because I did a video on this of how I grind my own pork. Just get it from the store, and we have a meat grinder and stuff. Just if anybody that's interested, because we're going to make our own homemade sausage patties. And there's so many different recipes out there, but I'm just going to do a plain, simple one. You can doctor it up however you want. There's so many recipes on the internet. But I'm just going to do a quick, easy one to keep it simple. 2 packages of hash browns. I know I could make my own with the potatoes, but this is always easy when I do a breakfast for supper. They're nice and small, and I fry them up and with a bit of onions, and sometimes I put them in a dish and sprinkle cheese on it and melt that on too. We'll see. I have to see if I have cheese. And some eggs. And also, I forgot to grab out of the cupboard. I have a package, a bag of homemade bread. I make my own bread, so we'll have some toast to go along with this too. Anyways, I'm going to defrost this pork because this pork is frozen. It's 2 pounds of pork per bag, so there's 4 pounds of pork. And there's going to be enough, there'll probably be a little left over from supper. So tomorrow morning before the kids go to school, they can have a fresh, a cooked breakfast too. I'll just whip it up, heat it up, and they can go to school with a full belly, which is always a great thing. So I'll get this meat defrosted and then we'll get cracking. I just wanted to show you guys what I do to defrost. This bag is bigger than my microwave, but it'll still work. And every microwave's different. I'm just going to defrost it, and I'm going to put it for 1.5 pounds, even though I know it's 2 pounds. Sometimes if you do it for that amount, it's already starting to cook, and I don't want that. So I'll do it, and it's still turning. It's still turning. Easy peasy. If I had been smart, I would have taken this out this morning and it would have been defrosted naturally. But, yeah, I'm just working with it. And, yeah, when this is done, we'll start shaping our sausage patties. You'll see how super easy this is. And it's so worth the time, which is only lickety-split, honestly, it is. I'm just getting the onions ready for the hash browns. Sorry, I got a hiccup in my throat. And this isn't new to some of my regular viewers, but I use one of these food chopper things. It's this plate's getting a little wore. I've gone through a couple of these contraptions over the past couple of years because I use it all the time. But yeah, you just put a vegetable in there, potato, carrot, pepper, whatever, chopped up, ready to rock and roll. Alright, I put about 2 tablespoons of butter in there, and I put about a tablespoon of olive oil in there for the hash browns, because we're going to fry this up. And you might be wondering, I'm going to turn it on high now just so it starts to melt. Wondering why I use both, but I find if you add just a little bit of oil to the butter, it makes it last a little longer. And if you use straight up oil, I find it gets kind of soggy. And I'm just not good at frying things on super high, so I'd rather do this, and it just works out perfect. So I'll bring you back when we're about to start adding things to the pan. But for now, it's just warming up, and then we'll get this party started. Alright, this is getting hot. So I'm going to add the onions. I usually cook stuff all together at the same time. It's just the onions are easier for me to grab right now. There's a little bit left in there, but believe me, I'm going to scrape those out. Just so these get coated a little bit. And then we're going to add, I'm just going to put 1 bag of hash browns in here right now. Because it's not a big pan. But I can guarantee the first thing that runs out is the hash browns. For some reason, the kids just love it. They put a little ketchup on it. And it's a good accompaniment to to the rest of the breakfast stuff. Oh, I just hear the big girls get home now, so I'll bring you back. All right, the onions got away from me. They're certainly not burnt, but you don't have to wait till they get to this stage, but they kind of got a little translucent, so it's all good. Either way, they get this way. It's just, usually, I just let them go in for a bit. Let's just chat with the girls. So now I'm going to do this one hand, because this isn't on a tripod, one of these bags. And this brand I find they're nice and small. They're almost like the size of a corn kernel. And they seem to soak up a lot of flavor, which is good. Now sometimes, I know I'm cooking bacon. I'm going to do bacon in the oven. I'll show you how I do that. I would fry this with a little bacon fat, but I'm trying to get ahead of the game because I have other stuff to do today. But yeah, we're just going to fry this up. It'll be good. I'm going to reserve that bacon fat though. I'll put it in a container and keep it in the fridge. And use it over the next few days instead of vegetable oil or something like that. Waste not, want not. Anyways, I'll wait till this starts frying up and browning and softening in a bit, and I'll bring you back and show you what it looks like. So I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to the hash browns, and then we'll flip it over. If you watched my St. Patrick's Day, I think it was, part 1, I made corned beef hash, yeah. And I make potato hash quite a bit, and it's pretty much like hash browns, only it's with cooked potatoes cut up small. Not quite as small as this, but cut up small. And just the maneuvering of, isn't this a cool pepper shaker? I know I mentioned it in other ones, but I bought it for $6.99, regular $21.99 at our Canadian Tire. You push this little button and the light will come on, and it grinds it. Makes me feel fancy. Not really, but it's kind of neat. So, that's added to it. This camera doesn't, well, you can see the pepper. Yeah, you can. But I don't stir this. I just keep flipping it over. And I have the heat on between 7 and 8. It's medium high. And it's sizzling. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. It's not super scorching or anything like that. But I'm going to keep doing this until it starts turning brown. And I added salt to this. If I had been using my bacon fat, I just haven't done the bacon yet, so I don't have bacon fat. If I had been using bacon fat, I wouldn't have added salt. Just because bacon is salty enough, as most of you know. But yeah, I'm going to keep flipping and flipping. I flip it and then let it sit for 30, 40 seconds, and then I flip it again and flip it again. This is just how I do it. You do what you do. I do what I do. I just wanted to show people how I make breakfast for supper. So, I'm going to wait till this is done, and then the ground pork is almost finished. Actually, the last one I just took out. I wasn't going to make this yet, but I'll just show you. Since I only put it in for 1.5 minutes, and it's 2 pounds, like for 1.5 pounds, the corners are very defrosted. In the middle, it's certainly not frozen. Like I could do it. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this out and put it in a bowl and let it sit for 20 minutes or so. It'll finish defrosting. Like I can feel some frozen parts in the middle part. And like I said, I could have taken this out this morning. My morning, it's a Monday morning, guys. I don't mind Mondays, but today was one of those stereotypical Monday mornings, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm just going to go with the flow. So I'll bring you back when the hash browns are ready to go to the next step. And then we'll move on to the next dish. Alright guys, I'm about to take this out of the pan. I don't know if the camera's picking this up, but it's quite toasted. It's browning. And I don't want to burn the onions or anything like that. It's perfect. It really is. I did go another round with the salt and pepper after I flipped it a couple times. So what I'm going to do now is put it in this pan, and then I'm going to grate some cheese because I need to do another pan of this. I won't film that because you've already seen me do it once, but I do 2 pans of this when I have it for supper because my memory ran out. I had to fix it. Anyways, yeah, I'm going to put this in the pan. I'm going to do another pan of this, and I'm going to grate some cheese. I'll show you guys how I do that once I get this transferred over and get the pan heated up again. And because if I'm going to do a breakfast for supper video, I might as well do it all the way. And on Christmas morning, we always have this big breakfast, plus a few extra goodies. But we always put cheese on our hash browns on when it's special occasions. And since I'm dealing with you guys, it's a special occasion. So hold your horses. I just want to show you the cheese that we're going to grate up for the hash browns. I already cut it in, it's not quite half. I do it this way because it fits in this tube a certain way and it doesn't fall all over the place. So I'll show you that when it's time. But I just want to show you, I got this food processor last summer because I've been doing a lot of canning and I was tired of doing stuff by hand. But this is a blade that it comes with. And this is not a fancy food processor. I think I paid like $50 for it. It's not cheap, but it's not like the big fancy ones that you can get. But this little plate comes off, and it has a cheese grater. You'll see in a second that it grinds it up like nothing. If I flip it over, this is what I use when I make my own sauerkraut. If any of you guys are interested, I'll put a link to that down below. But I shredded up most of my cabbage with this food processor, and let me tell you, I did 2 cabbages by hand, and that took a while. I did I think 3 cabbages with this. It was so much easier. I don't know why I didn't do the rest, use that from the beginning. So let me get this assembled, and when it's time to press that bad boy, I'll bring you back. Okay, you can see I cut it this way because if I cut it any wider, it wouldn't fit in that tube. But this way I can do it both at the same time. I'm all about saving time, guys, and the easier the better. So this is going to get loud, but you'll see. If it gets jiggly, I'm sorry, because I'm going to have to pick that up in a minute when it gets down low. So I always do it on low. Awesome is that? I hate grating cheese. I can't stand it. I have some nice cheese graters too. I used to have to bribe the kids to grate cheese for me, but since this, and I can just soak this, wash it easy. I'd rather wash this than grate cheese by hand. I can't stand it. Now don't get me wrong, if I had to do it by hand, I can do it. I've done it for years, but since last summer, this is all I use. Okay, I'm going to end up doing this lasagna style. I don't always do it this way, but I'm going to because that's just what I want to do. I'm going to just do a layer of this. And then I'm going to do the other pan of hash browns, put those on top, and put another layer of cheese. Like I say, it's a special occasion. I get to spend time with you guys. I love it. And then I'm going to cover this with tin foil, and it'll melt down. But after everything's all said and done, it won't be quite supper time yet. It's only 3:08. I'm going to put my oven on 170, which won't cook anything. It's just going to keep stuff warm. That's the lowest it'll go. But the cheese will melt down into it. It's going to go. It might not be the healthiest thing, but like I say, it's an occasion. So I'll bring you back when it's time to add the other hash browns to that. I just wanted to show you guys while I'm making that other pan of hash browns. I took the pork out of those big freezer bags, and like I say, most of it is defrosted. There's just a few frozen parts. I just dumped them in. I didn't get my gloves out yet because I wear gloves, and I would squish it around. But it's just going to sit here while those hash browns are cooking, about 10-15 minutes. And then when I dump those hash browns out, we're just going to use that same pan. So this minimal dishes, I mean, we're going to use a couple cookie sheets because I'm going to do the bacon in the oven. And if you've never done it in the oven, it's quite a time saver, and you can cook a lot of bacon all at once. And like I say, I'm all about time saving and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's just going to sit here. It's not going to be out all day or anything like that. Just like 20 minutes. And then we'll start doing the sausage patties. Alright, this is that second pan of hash browns. Again, an onion and some butter and a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper. I mean, when you make hash browns, you can add like onion powder or garlic powder. I just did the straight up because we're going to add some ketchup and cheese to it, right? So I just want to say, I didn't do anything with this. I just left it here, and look how much that's melted into it. So I'm going to add this on top of that, and then we're going to add some more of this. I know, it's not the most healthy, but it's going to be good. the other day. So I just wanted to show you. I didn't use all that cheese. There's still quite a bit left in there. But just to cover the top, I'm going to cover again with that tin foil and put it on a cookie sheet because I just find these are kind of flimsy. And then we're going to move on to the next dish. Alright, I already did a sheet of bacon. This is the fresh bacon. I laid it out this way. And there's still a couple of strips of those. This is the thicker bacon. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on this pan because those thin pieces of bacon are going to cook a heck of a lot faster than those ones. But I have one left to do. And this hand is gloved. I bought these gloves off of Amazon. You don't have to use gloves. I'm just saying I like to use gloves when I'm dealing with raw meat and some certain foods. But yeah, and I'm preheating the oven to 415. It's kind of low. Some people on the internet do it at 410. Some people do it at 425. But I do this so I can keep an eye on it because I find bacon can be kind of finicky. It's 415 and I'm going to 415 degrees, I should say. I'm going to bake this for 10 minutes and then I'm going to rotate the pans because I'm going to have two pans. And I might have to, this might take up to 20 minutes to a half hour, depends. I don't generally cook this kind of thick bacon, but I'm going to work with it. I still have a couple of packages in the freezer. Use what you got. It was 50% off. It was said use tonight, but when we buy things like that, we throw it right in the freezer, so there's nothing wrong with it. I looked at the date and there's still a couple of days left. I think they just either overbought it or people weren't buying it and they wanted to get rid of it. But we'll certainly use it, that's for sure. So there's two packages of bacon. That's preheated. I'm going to put it in. One on the top rack, one on the bottom rack for 10 minutes. Then we're going to flip-flop them. And I'll bring you back when it's time to do that. Oh, I didn't hear the buzzer, guys, so some of this kind of got a little crispy. So I'm going to take this right off. The ones on the ends got a little crispy. These ones aren't so bad. I'm going to take it off, and if I have paper towel, I'm going to line in the plate with paper towel. These ones are okay because they're so thick, right? But yeah, I'll get this suited up on a plate. I'm going to pour this fat off into a glass dish and save that, and then we're going to do the sausage patties. Alright, so that's the bacon I took off the pan. I took some of the thick bacon off too, because again, our ovens are kind of finicky. There's hot spots and some get done. So it's just that little bit that's left to cook, and that doesn't look too burnt. Just a few of the end pieces got a little crispy, but what you gonna do? The phone was ringing, the kids were cranking, and I just wasn't paying attention, I guess. So I'm going to put those back in the oven, and I'm going to keep an eye on them. I'm just going to put it on for 5 minutes and do it for every 5 minutes until they're done. And yeah, then we'll move on. Okay, now we're on to the sausage patty. So I'm going to read the ingredients for this recipe, but there's so many out there. There really is. Check out the internet. Like I've done this so many different ways, but this is one that most people would have this kind of stuff in their... They're spice covered, if you cook with spices, I should say. They're very common spices. So I'm going to read it just for a single serving. I'm doing a double dose because we got a big family. So this is for 2 pounds of pork. I'm doing 4, but 1 tablespoon of salt and 2 teaspoons of pepper. I forgot to add pepper to my plate. I'm going to get that. Black pepper, 2 teaspoons. 1 teaspoon of sage, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, a half a teaspoon of rosemary, and I have rosemary there and I crushed it with a spoon to just release some of the spice, I guess. A half a teaspoon of thyme and 1/8 teaspoon of red pepper. I also have a tablespoon there of brown sugar. A lot of recipes call for something sweet. You can use maple syrup. I don't have any left, so I'm using brown sugar. You could use honey, or you could use applesauce if you have some. Whatever tickles your fancy. But I'm putting a tablespoon of brown sugar. But remember, guys, I'm getting that black pepper. So I'm just going to dump this all in. I'll get the rest of that off. And I have gloved hands. I'm going to squish it all up and start making patties. And when I start making the patties, I'll bring you back. Alright, we're about to do the sausage patties. I just wanted to show you the bacon. I transferred it over to a plate with some napkins under it. Most of the grease is drained off, but it's looking good. So I'm just going to cover this with tin foil, and I'll put that in the oven with the hash browns. The oven is on 170, and it's not going to cook. It's just going to keep it warm. But we're going to start frying these up. I put about a tablespoon of olive oil in there, and I turn it on 8 for now, just to bring it up to heat. And these don't take long to cook at all. They really don't. They're faster than chicken, honestly, they are. So I'll whip up these. There's 2, 4, 6, 7, 2, 4, yeah. And I have 4 on top and another 7 under there. So most of them will be eaten up tonight, but some of the kids will be able to have a hot breakfast tomorrow, which will be good. So let me wrap this up, and when this starts sizzling, I'll bring you back. Alright guys, the video where my battery died on my little camera, so I'm going to use my phone. It's only been maybe 1 minute, and I had to flip them over. You see how fast this cooks. But since they're kind of thick patties, what I do, I'm going to cook the other side for a little bit. I don't add any spices to this, because you know the meat's already seasoned. I'm going to dump a little bit of water in this. I'm going to get it and cover it up. And it almost like steams it until it's cooked. And then I take the lid off and make sure that it's fully browned on both sides. So let me get a bit of water, and we'll do that once the other side is browned up enough. Okay, that's sizzling pretty good. Now you see, it's so quick that that's not burnt. That's just like the seasoning and stuff like that. And the center of the pan's always the hottest on this oven, no matter what frying pan you're using. Look at that. That's looking good. Honestly, eat this with a little dollop of mustard on the side. It is so good. It really is. I had no idea. My sister-in-law is the one that originally showed me how to make this. And I've never gone back since. So good. So this is gonna spit a little bit, so you gotta be careful. But this is what I do, because I find I don't want to brown it too much at the beginning. I put a bit of water. Maze Kenton, you need to get going. Oh, I need to get a top for the pan. Just hold on a minute. Alright, this is the second round. So I'm gonna finish cooking up all these sausage patties. And then Mally volunteered to cook the eggs for the family, so that's awesome. So I'll bring you guys back when it's time for the eggs. Okay, this is Miss Mally, and she's going to make the eggs for supper tonight. Everything else is in the oven done. I'm ready to rock. So, Mally turns the heat on. What's the number on, Mally?
6.
6? Okay, she's been making eggs all by herself for the past few weeks, and she's really good at it. She has a little salt and pepper. And, yeah, she waits till it's time to flip it over. She's my egg lover in this family, and she likes to make a couple eggs when she comes home from school. But as you can see, she waits till it cooks a little bit on one side. And with an electric stove, I'll put it over a little bit. There's hot spots on the electric burners and everything like that, but I'll bring you back when it's time to flip them over. Sure. Now Mally's about to butter the bread, the homemade bread, and we'll be ready to put a plate together. She volunteered to help me with all this, so I really appreciate it. And she's working her way up to being a great cook. So Mally buttered it all up. There's Miss Misha and her My Little Pony she decorated herself. I love the sound of the toast being buttered.
Mommy.
And there's Mr. Maze. They're all waiting for their supper. So this supper is going to be good. Yes, supper's ready. Alright folks, supper is all ready. I'm going to grab the ketchup and mustard out of the fridge, because mustard goes really good with sausage patties. At least I think so. And don't mind the stove top. That's just from cooking all day. So let's dig the plates out. Alright, this is Em's plate. I'll add a little ketchup to it and a blob of mustard. And it'll be good to go. The girls all want to do a taste test, so we'll all be back when they're all seated at the table. All right, guys. So what do you think of supper?
Good.
Now, Misha, Maze, what do you think?
It's good.
Maze, do you like it?
Yeah.
Is it yummy in your tummy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it too, but I ate the hash brown.
You ate all your hash browns, yeah. All right, say see you later, everybody.
I like it.
You do? Good.
Me too. I like all of it.
Good.
Bye.
All right, this is Tracy and everybody else from Nova Scotia Living, and thanks for joining us for supper tonight. Please
Bye.
like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe. I got the hiccups, guys, but we'll be back another day for something good to eat.
Bye.
All right, bye. I just want to say this is the leftovers. Mind you, my teenager hasn't been home yet. He had softball after school, so there's plenty of breakfast left over for tomorrow's morning. And I just need to whip up a couple eggs if anybody wants any and pop some toast in the toaster, and that's a full course breakfast, I would say. So that's good. When I love that we have to cook enough, and it saves me a lot of energy for tomorrow morning. And Misha keeps dipping back into the bacon. You like bacon? Shaken bacon? Yeah. All right. Well, I just wanted to share.